Hey boys and girls, it's Chris Eads, Wootini over at gaygamer.net here with another weekly video podcast. This week, I did actually pick up a new game, amusingly enough, and it was Your Shape Fitness 2012, because I did something to my foot, and so I haven't been running, so I feel like I need to do something more than just Dance Central, because Dance Central's fun, but I thought, and I picked it up for super cheap. It was like $20, no problem. And it's nice just to have the, the various workouts and stuff. And it's really funny because, I've been running for years now, but I go and I do some of these workout routines that, like, have you squatting and kicking and stuff, and then all of a sudden, my thighs and glutes are just killing me. And it's nice to know that I'm working muscles that I don't normally use, so that's good. But it's still sad because it is just a workout video that just monitors you through the Kinect. And there is still a part of me that does prefer Dance Central, just because I like the stealth workout games like that, where you play it and then you're like, oh, I've got to beat my friend's score, and so you do the routine again, and you do a handful of routines in Dance Central and you're dripping with sweat and you've burned quite a few calories, and that's great. As opposed to doing Your Shape, where it's clearly a workout routine and you're clearly working out, and it's, stop and start and everything, and, it's not as much fun, per se, You need to have the games that kind of trick you into working out. But what I actually wanted to talk about this week is, can we all just get along? Nintendo put out another Nintendo Direct, and it seems like every time they put out a Nintendo Direct to let people know about what Wii U and 3DS games are on the horizon, suddenly, social media is full of people talking about how Nintendo is doomed, and websites are talking about Nintendo is doomed, the Wii U is doomed, and Nintendo should just give it up, and Sony and Microsoft are going to wipe the floor with them. And I'm just like, can we all just calm down a minute? That's what everybody was saying about the 3DS when it first launched, and there were like 6 games, and people were like, oh, this is doomed. And it took a little while, but then eventually there were games that people wanted to play, and then eventually they hit the magic price point, and the 3DS sold great. And now the 3DS is doing fantastic. And honestly, of all of my systems, I use my 3DS the most. Honestly, that's for Animal Crossing, but even before Animal Crossing, I was using my 3DS more than my home consoles. Just because there's fun games to play on it, and I really enjoy it. So, yes, the Wii U doesn't have a lot of system-selling software right now. But the Xbox One and the PS4 are coming out this fall, and I'm not really sure they're going to have big launch libraries with a lot of great big system sellers. Basically, the Wii U launched and sold to the Nintendo faithful. Now, sales peter off until they get out those games that make everybody else suddenly go, oh, now I want to get one so I can play that. Maybe it's Pikmin 3 that just came out. Maybe it's the wonderful 101 that's about to come out next month. I don't know. Maybe those aren't system sellers. It depends on who you are and what you like to play. Maybe you're the biggest Pikmin fan in the world, and you were just waiting for Pikmin 3 to come out, and now you're going to buy a Wii U to play it. But, it just irks me that everyone's like, oh, Nintendo's doomed. I'm like, not necessarily. That's what you said about the 3DS. And honestly, I have no intention of picking up an Xbox One or a PS4 at launch, because so far I have not seen any launch titles that I desperately need to play to the point where I'll drop $500 on a new system just to play this one $60 game that I also have to buy. So those are going to wait. Just like I waited with my 360 and my PS3, I wait until there's a good library of games, and then there's that one game that I'm like, okay, I really want to play that, so let me buy the system so I can really play that. And then there's these other games that I didn't really want to play, but I do want to play, and I'll pick those up too. I try to be console agnostic. I own everything. Eventually, I will own a PS4 and an Xbox One. It's just a matter of finding the right price and having the right games for it, and then I will happily buy it. I'm a little irked about the whole no backwards compatibility thing, because it means that, like, if I want to play my 360 or my PS3, like, I have to keep those, you know? And especially now that we're getting into downloadable games, that's really annoying, because why can't I play Journey on my PS4? I bought it for my PS3, why can't I play it on my PS4? That's just rude. But yes, Nintendo is not in the best position. They don't actually have any really big major games coming out this fall to try to combat the Xbox One and PS4. So I do think that Nintendo is in a little bit of trouble with the Wii U. But they've got the 3DS, so they'll still be fine. And the 3DS, the Xbox One and the PS4 are going to launch big, but I expect them to drop off too. But what's interesting is, I don't expect to see news articles or Twitter posts talking about how the PS4 is dead, or the Xbox One is doomed. Actually, there probably will be some Xbox One is doomed, because everybody's been dumping on it ever since Microsoft announced it, and they've been going back and forth on the features and what kind of things they're going to have, and like they just keep... they're all over the map. I don't even know what's going to happen. I feel like you'll buy an Xbox One and bring it home, and then somebody will come ring your doorbell and go, "Here, sorry, we forgot to include this. We meant to include this. Sorry." But is anybody going to be writing articles about how, oh my god, the PlayStation 4 is doomed because it only had 8 launch titles and it's just not selling that well, and the PS3 is outselling it? I don't think so. People like to dump on Nintendo for some reason, and I don't know what that is. It's some weird anti-Nintendo bias that a lot of people seem to have. And I don't know why that is. Is it because they're like the kiddie console and everyone just thinks they're a joke? And they're not as cool as the Xbox or the PlayStation? I don't know. But it irks me, and I wish that people would stop and give them a chance. And just like with any Nintendo console, like I didn't buy my Nintendo 64. I remember a friend of mine was like, "Why haven't you bought a Nintendo 64? I'm like, "I'm waiting for Zelda." And they're like, "Don't you want to play Mario?" I'm like, "No, I actually don't want to play Mario 64. I did eventually, and I didn't really care for it, and I knew that I wouldn't, so that's, why I didn't buy it for that. But when Ocarina of Time came out, damn right I bought a Nintendo 64 and played Ocarina of Time. And the GameCube, same thing. But, like, with the Nintendo consoles, they don't always have the best third-party support. Except for on the Wii, where it sold like gangbusters, so they were just shoveling all kinds of crap onto it, which was a problem in the other direction. But they always have really amazing first-party exclusive games. So, if you buy a Nintendo console, like I have my Wii U, it doesn't get a whole lot of use, but it does get some, and I know that eventually there will be a Zelda game, and I know that eventually there will be a Mario game. There will be games that I will want to play that I can only play on my Wii U. And I will. I mean, my PlayStation 3 doesn't get hardly any use at all, except for when I randomly fire up SingStar, But it still gets used. I don't regret purchasing it. There have been games on my PS3 that I have thoroughly enjoyed, and have been well worth playing, and well worth buying the console for. So, I just want everybody to calm down, stop bad-mouthing everybody, and let's all just get along and play the games that we enjoy. And if we all just sit around and play games that we enjoy, we'll all just be happier people, right? Alright, that's enough rambling for this week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye!